Fantastic. Here I am, a slave to technology. Your first act of the night has been a Raw Comedy and Green Faces finalist. He's done 2 successful Melbourne International Comedy Festival shows. He's written and performed for TV's Live on Bowen, and currently he can be heard destroying his career on the Oppression Chamber podcast. Would you please give a warm round of applause and welcome to the stage, Mr. John Dore!
Oh, hello, thank you for that. I'm going to take this out of here. This one, put this over here. This is a little bit embarrassing, but I actually honestly thought the topic this evening was ineffectual altruism, the dangers of doing good. Yeah, so now I've got nothing but jokes about that. So that's what, you guys up for hearing about that? Yeah. Also, I just want to say as well, a complete honour to be in the room with this man, Peter Singer. It's like a lifelong dream. Yeah. I told my fiancée about that. She was like, how's your comedy going with your shitty little blah, blah, blah? I was like, I'm doing a gig with Peter Singer. She was like, fuck. Couldn't make it here, though. She said to say hello. Doing well. So, ineffective altruism, the dangers of doing good. I've got like a couple of little stories about that, about myself trying to do good ineffectively. Which anyone here try and do good and be not very effective at it? That's most people, right? It's hard. It's very difficult to do good. Like, you don't know the consequences of you actually doing the good. Like the government right now, like governments around the world, not everywhere in the world, but governments around the world are spending like heaps of money, like trying to combat the obesity epidemic. But like you don't know, like down the road, like if we cure obesity, who are we gonna push out in front of careening trolleys to save people standing on train tracks? What do we do then? Eh? But you know, if we let obesity, like if everyone was obese, you'd never need to push a fat person onto a track to save anyone and stop a trolley ever, because every group of people would be protected by an obese person because we would all be obese. Thus, solving the trolley problem forever and dramatically reducing the suffering of philosophy students from here to perpetuity. Thank you. That's a great and amazing joke. You can see why I had to go with my original thing. You wouldn't have heard that. Man, when I was younger, like I thought like I didn't like people getting picked on, so I was like, I want to stop people getting picked on. What can I do? And I was like, what I'll do for my like altruism is I'll learn how to do martial arts, and then I'll be able to help people. That turned out to be very dangerous for me, because the martial arts that I chose was Taekwondo, and Taekwondo is the worst martial arts in the world. The only way you can win a fight using Taekwondo is if the person you're fighting knows Taekwondo. Even then, there's a chance they could forget their training and kick your ass, so you're never safe. Seriously, it's like the list of all martial arts. It goes like, everything else, origami, tai chi, taekwondo, right down the bottom. It's a very bad martial... This is what I learnt in taekwondo, okay? This is what I learnt in taekwondo. It's called patterns. It goes like this. Ya, 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 ya. Yeah, like, sure, that looks pretty good, right? It looks pretty cool. When's that ever going to help you in a fight? Like, when's that coming in handy? You just got to hope that one day, like, you're attacked by 3 slow-moving assholes, and all the exact reverse moves. You just battle it out with them. The lady says to leave her alone. Yeah! These men won't be bothering you anymore, ma'am. This is what else I learned in Taekwondo. I learned horse riding stance. That's like this. Ya, 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 ya. When are you going to use that? How's that working? You just got to hope your attacker gets dazzled by that, runs in like a moth to the flame, beats the crap out of himself. Only other thing I can think is like one day you're on the back of a rowdy horse, you need to punch it in the back of the head. Like I said, trot, motherfuckers. Like, shit, this dude knows Taekwondo. It's trotting along. I only ever used my Taekwondo skills to try and protect one person. I remember there was this dude, he was doing a bit of picking on and stuff like that, so I just stepped in, I went straight into horse riding stance, and I could tell that this dude had no martial arts training at all by the clumsy way that he tackled me to the ground and beat the crap out of me. Just getting buffeted around. Like, I would have won that fight if he had done some sort of move that I could defend myself against, like I'd learned to defend myself against in Taekwondo. Like if he had punched, then just left his arm out there, probably could have done something with that. Or if he had grabbed my right wrist with his right hand on the diagonal, a little bit of pressure, bang, wrist lock, working to the ground, finish my fight. I would win that fight. But he didn't do any of that. He just kicked my ass. Just beat me up. I remember I got back to Taekwondo. Everyone at Taekwondo was like, what happened to you? I was like, I got beaten up. They're like, how? I was like, I don't know. They're like, did you go into horse riding stance? I was like, yes, first thing. They're like, what happened? I said, he just tackled me to the ground. They were like, well, this guy does not know how to fight. I was like, yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. They're like, what happened when he grabbed your wrist? Did you do a wrist lock? Put him in the wrist lock? I was like, he didn't grab my wrist. They're like, well, he didn't grab your wrist. Where'd he grab you? Well, he just kind of like grabbed my face, put his knee in my back, punched me in the head. They were like, that is an instant disqualification. Wouldn't last 2 seconds in a tournament, you would have won that on points. I was like, yeah, that's what hurts the most, knowing I would have taken that on points. Yeah, I wasn't very effective with my martial arts altruism. That didn't even kick back in. Like, I always thought, like, if someone jumped out of the dark and tried to attack me or something, a bit of that Taekwondo would kick back in. I'd be like, ah! Turns out that's not true, because the other day, had this mattress in the hall that we're throwing out. I got home in the dark, locked the door, the mattress fell on my shoulders. I thought that was someone coming out of the dark to attack me. I always thought I'd just be like, yeah, do something. Turns out, no. This is my go-to move when I think I'm being attacked in the dark. It goes exactly like this. Oh, please, please. That's how I defend myself. I fall to my knees and I scream please twice. It's meant to be fight or flight. Turns out also crumple and beg. That's my other move. So yeah, ineffective altruism is everywhere. It's even in Mr. Singer's own thought experiment. I have discovered. You can tell I'm real scared now because I didn't imagine doing this shitty joke in front of Mr. Singer. But anyway, here we go. I found ineffective altruism. So you know the famous shallow pond thought experiment. Does everyone know that? This lady does, and this guy's unimpressed by it. She's like, woo! And he's like, yeah. Right, this is the shallow pond thought experiment. You're walking along, you see a child drowning in a shallow pond. You can save the child. You've got time to save the child, but you realise, I don't know how Mr. Singer came up with this part, but you realise you're wearing expensive shoes. You know, you see the child, you're going to save the child. You're like, I got some expensive shoes on, my shoes will be ruined. What do you do? What do you do, everyone? Do you save the child? This is like, how good the shoes? How good are the shoes? You guys are ineffective altruism-y people. You definitely saved the child. You saved the child, right? And then you say yes to that, and the point of that is, well, by the price of your shoes, I'm butchering your thought experiment, Mr. Singer, I'm sorry. The price of your shoes could save a child every day. So effectively, you're not saving that child if you're not giving up the money of the price of a pair of your shoes every now and then to save a child. But what's not being factored into that thought experiment, as radical and amazing as it is what about like the 10 children in the sweatshop making my next pair of shoes? What about their suffering? All right, that took a lot of courage from me. You guys don't understand. You don't understand how good it was of me to do that joke. Yeah, that was pretty good. So, the dangers of ineffective altruism, you don't know. Like sometimes you don't know how to do things proper and good. Like I want to do a lot of good things, but I don't know how. Like I've always wanted to help an old lady across the road. I don't know how you go about it. I don't want to do that wrong. Like you just turn and go, hey, do you need a ham? Will that scare her? Or do you sweep her up like the cover of a romance novel? Maybe they got like a little bit of skin on the neck like a cat. You pick them up, they go limp. Carry them across the road, lay them down, scratch on the belly. You're a Samaritan, off you go. I want to help the elderly. I've actually volunteered in aged care homes before, which is very fulfilling. You should do that. When I went the first time I went to an aged care and volunteered, I met a woman. She was 107 years old. She just grabbed me on the wrist. She's like, I'm 107! I was like, oh, please, please. I went there back there the next time. I said to the carer, hey, how's Betsy, the 107-year-old lady? And he goes, she's dead. And I was like, oh, that's sad, thank God. I didn't say that. He goes, she's dead. I was like, oh, that's so sad. And he goes, yeah, she just gave up. That's what he said. He goes, she just gave up. Like he was disappointed. Yeah, how hard is it to impress that dude? You get nothing from this guy till you're like 160. Just driving past cemeteries going, what a bunch of fucking quitters. Just gave up. Anyway, it's good to be here with Mr. Singer and all of you guys. Mr. Singer, I keep thinking that's the get off bell. Ding! And coincidentally, every time I go into a joke with Mr. Singer in it, it goes ding, 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 ding. Mr. Singer is like an amazing, animal rights, euthanasia, effective altruism. These are all incredible things to get behind and do. And he doesn't just talk the talk, he also walks the walk. Like donates a large part of his earnings to charity. Wrote Animal Liberation. He's a vegan. And yeah. And just before the show, I saw him kill an old woman. She had a limp. He said it wasn't worth it. That is really, really funny. You guys are laughing like the man said, holy shit, he's in the room. It's good. Mr. Singer's vegan. I've recently turned vegan. I've been feeling heaps better. Yeah. Not physically better, just better than everyone else. It's a big feeling that washes over you. Yeah. No, I was vegan for 3 years, but that's an example of the danger of altruism, because when you turn vegan, a lot of people get very hostile. You just say to people, I'm vegan, they're like, why don't you like sausages, cunt? Well, I don't like them. People get hostile or they ask stupid questions. Yeah, like, I'm vegan. What's that mean? It means I don't eat any animal products. Well, what about meat? That's an animal product. What about fish? Also is an animal product. What about cheese, mate? Why don't you eat cheese? Eat some bloody cheese. So then you have to explain to people, I don't want to eat any animal products because there's suffering involved. I don't want to be responsible for any of the suffering to any of the animals. And then the questions just get real fucking stupid. Like, all right then, what about if a lizard drops its tail? You're the one that scared it. You didn't scare it, mate. You didn't scare it. It's just going to waste, mate. It's just going to waste. Why don't you eat the bloody tail? I don't want to eat a lizard's tail out of the dirt. That's not something I want to do. Or what about if a cow steps on a landmine? It's just raining steaks. Just everywhere, mate. Just going to waste. Why don't you eat those bloody steaks, mate? Eat those bloody steaks. Where's that happening? Sort of cow-filled landmine paddock? Where's this going on? Why don't you eat eggs? Oh, hey, if I had happy chickens in the backyard, permaculture, circle of life, insect eating, fertilising, I would eat those eggs. Why don't you eat the chicken? I'm going to eat my happy chicken laying my happy eggs. That's not something I'm going to do. Or what about you come home, your chicken's dead. She's going to waste. You didn't do it, mate. Just going to waste. Why don't you eat that bloody chicken? Eat that bloody chicken then, mate. Well, I'm pretty sure there's like a rule about eating mysteriously dead animals. Fine, laying on the ground. A scientist or anything. Or but you come home, your chicken's been murdered. Got a knife in its chest, footsteps running off, still warm, just fresh. You didn't do it, going to waste. Eat that, why don't you eat that bloody chicken then, mate? Hey, why won't you eat that bloody chicken? Hey, what the fuck's my chicken mixed up in? One's coming around and murdering my chicken. It's got gambling debts. Keep betting against itself in cockfighting. It's like I'm going down in the third. The third comes, pride takes over. It's like, ah, fuck, they're coming for me. So I'm not vegan anymore, and you know what? People don't like that either. When you're vegan, then you're not vegan anymore. You're like, hey, I'm not vegan anymore. They're like, yeah, still not too sure about you, mate. Well, I don't know how I eat meat. I'm just like you. Nah. You're worse. Worse? Why am I worse? Because you know it's wrong. If you know that I know it's wrong, then you know it's wrong. Nothing fucking wrong with eating sausages, cunt. So I think that's just about my time up here. I can tell you one more quick story about my first foray into intra-species effective altruism that went horribly wrong and was very dangerous. I'll tell you that real quick and then I'll go. Do you want to hear that? All right, sweet. So when I was 11 years old, I was out the back with my dad, and there was a redback spider, and my dad was going to kill it. I was like, no, Dad, don't kill it. And he's like, well, what am I going to do with it? I was like, I'll keep it as a pet. And my dad was like, yeah, I don't see a problem with that. So we put it in a jar, and my mum's like, Brian, you can't have a poisonous spider as a pet. My dad's just like, it's in a jar, Annie. As long as he doesn't go licking the air holes, he'll be fine. I can't tell you how much I wanted to lick those air holes as well after I heard my dad say that. All I could think about. Sit in the room with it going, yeah. So I had this thing 2 months, and I see what looks like an egg sac inside of the jar. So I show it to my dad, and I go, Dad, an egg sac. And my dad goes, it can't be an egg sac, because there's no dead man spider in the jar. It's probably just got the web banked up like milking a cow, and it's milking itself like a cow. That was my dad's scientific mind. Cow, spider, pretty much the same thing. Keep it in your room, son. Everything will be fine. My mum's like, Brian, that's obviously an egg sac. Dad's like, it's just milking itself like a cow, Annie. And a week later, I get out of the shower. I walk into my room with my towel around my little 11-year-old waist. I feel like a little tickle on my face, then a little tickle here. For a second, it's like my eyes don't work because it's just black dots floating everywhere. Then it focuses in. My whole room is just little baby redbacks running around everywhere. I just remember everything in my stomach just went, bleh. My little 11-year-old balls went, just drew up into me, which actually I've since read that that's an ability that fighting monks train for years to acquire. I can just do that, it turns out. It's nice to know if there was an emergency or anything here right now, you guys would all freak out. I'd just be over here, calm, collected, a couple of lumps in my throat. I just go running out of the room going, they've hatched. And my mum, dad and sister run to the room, look inside. My mum starts flipping out, just getting crazy furious. My sister runs straight to her room. She grabs a suitcase, just starts chucking clothes into it. I'm not fucking living here anymore. I'm not staying in this house. Go live with Auntie Carol. I don't want to live here. My dad is just calm, nonchalant, just standing at the door. He goes, everyone relax. It's only a few hundred baby redbacks. Just a few hundred. As long as they don't all bite you at once, you'll be fine. Also something he doesn't know. They could be like chilies, worse the smaller they get, I don't know. And he grabs there was a can of fly spray, empties the whole can of fly spray into the room. Then he goes and gets a broom, sticks his broom into this web and starts spinning it around. It's just getting bigger and bigger and bigger, like he's making this demon fairy floss, getting all massive. And he grabs that and runs out the back and sets it on fire. Oh, while he's doing this as well, I noticed this look on my dad's face that I've never, ever seen before. I'm like, what's this expression on my dad's face? And I was like, oh, he's happy. I've never seen him happy before. He's experiencing joy. It's nice to be there for that, in shock. He just runs out the back, sets it on fire. My sister, me and mum just hear this boom, and hear my dad go, woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! And then he comes back inside. My mum's like seething. My sister's got a suitcase. I'm naked in shock, and he goes, oh, it's probably an egg sack. Probably, he gave a solid probably. And then the next night, I was back in the room. My mum was like, Brian, I don't think it's safe for him to be back in that room so soon. And my dad was like, relax, Annie. It's so thick with fly spray in there, nothing can survive. That's my ineffective altruism. Hey, you guys have been great. Thanks very much for having me.